The right to experience, imagination and the substance of sensation. Words by Dr Liam Sardea. Dr. Ali Looks recently went viral after sharing the title of her dissertation on social media, Olfactory Ethics, the Politics of Smell in Modern and Contemporary Prose. Much of the curiosity, skepticism, and yes, backlash, stemmed from the implicit proposal that smell can carry ethical significance, let alone provide substantive content for a research topic. But for the perfume inclined, this is no controversial claim. Smells are affixed with symbolic value, as surely as sounds, words, and pictures. The gestural significance of a scent is evident to the recipient, at least in the form of a recognizable force, from the scent of seduction and subversion, refinement, elegance and comfort, to clarion calls of spring, and simply new molecular possibilities, palpable in the air on the scented sillage of passers-by. If we smell it, we feel it too. Perfume's destiny has always been that of association, connection, and reproduction, and from the first-person perspective, the experience appears to strike the sensing body before it enters the conceptual computer, that is the brain. In the mnemonic Proustian scheme, odour, identity, and a memory of images form an essential triad that structures human experience through time, and few writers obsessed over this entanglement as much as he. Proust excellently demonstrates the Janus face of this connection, a net that gathers our experiences in the name of coherence, all too readily becoming a cage that ensnares us in the tyranny of repetition. Proust attempts to fix all that is real in the quicksand of memory, always evading full capture. And what escapes is the freshness of the immediate present, the sensation unique to the here and now. If our consciousness could only ever remember and recall things, which is to say that it could not creatively imagine, we'd be forever trapped in a literal world of appearances. It cannot go beyond what is given to it. What I speak of here precedes the question of ethics and the Proustian bricolage of identity construction tied to the image. It is a question of our right to have sensations, to smell, taste, feel, etc., with all of its impact and significance guaranteed by the work of the imagination. And not merely an imagination that reproduces experiences in memory, but a generative one, furnishing the experiences that constitute all the variances of daily existence. This is a productive imagination that makes experience possible through the image, but also colours it with forces, intensities, variation, and feeling. For experience as we know it to be possible, the imagination becomes a necessary fact of human constitution. Take away the imagination, and life loses all of its significance and its concomitant pleasures. Attention to sensory pleasure reawakens the active aspects of our imagination against forces that numb, standardize, and replicate at the expense of true experiential diversity. For there is delight in the brilliance of the detail, in the sensitive extraction of an aesthetic nuance. Embracing this renews our many possible connections with the world, cultivating a self that is open and attuned to difference. Our favourite concerto, flavour of sorbet, pair of shoes, Hitchcock film, are our signature fragrance. A mimetic imagination alone will never fill these images with that very special feeling that we might call aesthetic, beautiful, special, or sublime. Experience is always in excess of the image, as the imagination creates the shock of pleasure that we associate with the given image. It is the felt indication that something tremendous is going on. We might attribute this shock to something external to us, but it is always from within us, stirred by something and brought to the front of experience, until it heats us up and colours us from end to end, until this transmogrifies all of the world that we inhabit. Everyday materials, the certain taste, touch, smell, sound, and look of things, are all capable points of contact for an imaginative explosion. Aesthetic experience is infused with the imagination, where each sensory point of contact is always already a moment of the imagination. And as we attempt to give logic to the sensation, we invariably start reaching for the strangest and blurriest metaphors. Try to be precise, and you are bound to be metaphorical, said John Middleton Murray in The Problem of Style. Indeed, an exacting style of strict correspondence is no good here. Language is barely adequate. A whiff of sharp, powdery green violet flower is the sound of a soprano hitting the highest notes of their register. And the glint of green, folded amongst the yellow colour of a fine burgundy wine, comes from the same metaphysical essence in which Turner painted his sunlight, or where Klimt signified amorous forces at work, frozen in time and immortalised in the kiss. When French perfumer Aimé Grenat composed Jicky in 1889, the first modern perfume, he created the first perfume with a noticeable feeling of abstraction. What we are left to detect in Jicky today is a notch on the timeline of olfactory history. It is like the start of something, an opening where aesthetic tension and contrast first came to be, deliberately, emphatically, and beautifully. The most profound human experiences blur our sense modalities. We return to an originary body without distinction, and one that silences the organising mind, ruled by habit. Untethered by the rational faculties, the imagination enters into a state of free play. Without the prohibitions of the image, we are left with sublime feeling, a bit of frenzy, some mania, unlimited possibility, but also a peculiar condensation of self, that rare feeling of a certain expansion, like an accordion that extends beyond what was previously thought to be its limit. What are we to do? For the sake of the aesthetic, the only ethical principle is to let the experience do its work. How hard it might seem to relinquish control and to put aside our resistances. But the aesthetic makes it easy. We do not lose ourselves. Rather, we expand into openness. Let all of the experience fill you up with its air, a substance that fills while rendering weightless, until you too begin to float.